Hi friends, in this generative AI tutorial, I have developed a chatbot and that chatbot will internally call the LLM model and will give you the response back. It is very similar to ChatGPT where it will allow us to ask the questions and this chatbot is hosted in AWS platform. Okay, so overall the architecture of this is chatbot is in the front end there is a Streamlit application. Streamlit application will call the API gateway. API gateway will basically expose the API to the client UI application, and API gateway will internally call to Lambda function. Lambda will invoke the Bedrock API, and Bedrock will basically call to your LLM models. Okay, so here I am using the Claude Sonnet model, and let's go through the chatbot. Okay, so that's our chatbot. It's created using the Python Streamlit framework. So let me ask some questions. What is AWS? And you can see we have got the a proper response over here. Okay, let me ask one more question. Tell me quantum computing. Okay, and we have got the response back for quantum computing. In this chatbot, I have given two configuration parameter. One parameter is temperature and another parameter is a max tokens. So if we want our response, we can customize with these tokens. So let me put it here, number of tokens, let's have very few, 300 tokens. Okay, and let's ask the same question. Tell me quantum computing, and you will see it will give you a response in the 300 token, and if I'm getting more response at that will be cut short. Okay, so let me see, let's make it very simple. It's 100 tokens. Okay, so you can see it give me very that response which can only come in under the 100 tokens. Okay, so basically if we need a bigger response, we can increase the token size, but again token size is proportionate to the cost which you will be paying for the model. Okay, second one is a temperature. So always remember, temperature basically tells if you increase the temperature to 1, it you can change from 0.0 to 1. If increase the temperature 1 means in the response you will see more random words and it will be more diverse response, and as much you reduce the temperature, you will see it will give you, the model will give you the more factual information. It will not hallucinate, but at the same time there will be very less diverse, very less random words will be used. The response may be more repetitive, more factual, and it will not have diverse different types of words. Okay, so depends on what type of requirement we are having. So if you have any requirement where you want to generate um, a poem or a generate some documentation, you need to use different types of words, more diverse response, so you can safely keep your temperature as 0.7. Okay, so and here I have just customized with the API gateway endpoint. Let's understand now the architecture of this whole chatbot. Okay, so here you can see this is the user interface which client is accessing, and here is a API gateway. API gateway will expose the Lambda function code in the form of a API. Okay, and API gateway will call to Lambda function. In the Lambda function we have written the Bedrock API, and Bedrock API will basically call to the foundation model, and here you can call any of the industry leading model. You can call to Nova, Amazon Nova model, or Claude Sonnet model, or ChatGPT model. Okay, now let me show you how I have developed this. Okay, so let's come to VS Code. So in the VS Code I have created a simple a Lambda function code. You can always use the git Copilot to generate this code. Okay, what this code does actually, the main function is bedrock.invoke model. Here you can see you are basically calling the Bedrock model, LLM model, through the Bedrock API. Okay, you are giving the model ID, and model ID is Amazon Nova, and then you are passing the payload, and here we are configuring the payload. In the payload you are basically sending your prompt, and then in the inference config you are setting the temperature and maximum tokens. Okay, so this will return you the response, and that response you are basically putting into your Streamlit application. Okay, same way response, here you are calling the request parameter request.post, and here we are that's the Lambda function, and here I am calling the API gateway endpoint from this Streamlit app. Okay, so here in the response here, okay, request module dot post API gateway URL, and you are putting your payload over here. Okay, now let me go to AWS environment and see this implementation. Let's come to Lambda. Okay, that's the function, and this code you can see in my GitHub page. Okay, so that's my GitHub page, and this is the code over here. So you can always get the code from here, but let me explain the code here first. So that's your Lambda function. I just copied from the VS Code over here. You can see the Lambda function. You created the payload, and here you are getting the response back by invoking the model. I am using the Amazon Nova model. You can change the model ID over here. Okay, deploy this model and you can do the test. So let me show you. In the test I have given prompt, temperature, and max tokens. It's 100 200 words. Okay, and click on test, and you can see over here it gives you the response, artificial intelligence, and all the response over here. And remember, when you come to code, when you write the Lambda function in the configuration, you have to define your role. Okay, that role, Lambda execution role, should have access to invoke the Bedrock. That's very important. Okay, now let's say go to API gateway. In the API gateway I have created this API. This API will be internally called to the Lambda function. Okay, call Bedrock, converts Lambda function, and that Lambda function will give you the response back. Okay, and here if you come to stages, I have deployed this API, and this is the URL which you get it. This URL you can test it out through the Postman, and I'm just giving the prompt, temperature, and max tokens, and you can see it's working fine. Okay, and the next thing is, now your API gateway URL is working fine. The same URL you just need to plug and paste in your API gateway URL in your Streamlit app. Okay, run your Streamlit application. It will come as a my Streamlit application is running locally, and you will get the chatbot up and running. If you have any questions, I have already shared my GitHub page. Okay, called generative AI models. Go through the code, and as I told you, you can also generate the code from the VS Code Copilot also. And if you have any questions, please write the questions in the comment box, and I will happy to reply you. Thank you.